So good morning. I'm delighted to be here. And this morning I'm going to start with a few readings from Interbeing, 14 Guidelines for Engaged Buddhism. And I'm going to go through this book over the next while, I think. It's Thich Nhat Hanh, the late Vietnamese Buddhist monk. And one of the teachings is number 4, aware that looking deeply at the nature of suffering can help us develop compassion and find ways out of suffering. We are determined not to avoid or close our eyes before suffering. We are committed to finding ways, including personal contact, images, and sounds, to be with those who suffer, so we can understand their situation deeply and help them transform their suffering into compassion, peace, and joy. And number 7 is aware that life is available only in the present moment and that it is possible to live happily in the here and now. We are committed to training ourselves to live deeply each moment of daily life. We will try not to lose ourselves in dispersion or be carried away by regrets about the past, worries about the future, or craving, anger, or jealousy in the present. We will practice mindful breathing to come back to what is happening in the present moment. We are determined to learn the art of mindful living by touching the wondrous, refreshing, and healing elements that are inside and around us, and by nourishing seeds of joy, peace, love, and understanding in ourselves, thus facilitating the work of transformation and healing in our consciousness. So these seem very, very laudable goals. And since I have some time, but limited time, I'm going to work hard on these for the next while. I'd like to begin with some breathing. And I've been looking at Yoga and You by Esther Myers, who was my teacher in the early 80s, and she died in about 1994, I think. But she describes, she always had breathing in all of her classes, and this is the Aum breath, and it's just taking apart Om and into the Ah, Oo, and so you take a few normal breaths. And I'll just explain to you. You take a few normal breaths, and then you exhale with ah, and then you narrow your lips to pronounce o, and then you hum And once you feel that vibration, you're supposed to draw this vibration into your body, through your nose, down your neck, and your spine, until you can feel the vibration all the way down to the base of your spine. And then you exhale normally between the sounds. So the focus of this practice is on the vibrational quality of the M. As the vibration increases, the sound decreases. This is one of the few practices that we begin at the head and work down to the base of the pose. For this reason, it is easy to become buzzed or lightheaded. Stay conscious of your contact with the ground throughout the practice. The vibration of the will loosen any tension in your body. Is very good for releasing the residual spasm from an injury. If you find yourself shaking in the postures, you can use the vibration of the to channel the shaking. So we'll just start with that. So we'll take a few normal breaths, inhaling and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling. And then we'll inhale and we'll exhale with a wide ah. And then we will narrow the lips to pronounce oh. And then and inhale. Oh. Inhale. 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 And now we'll just breathe regularly as it is possible, having done that quite extraordinary breathing exercise. Inhaling and exhaling. Okay, and now we are going to just sit. I'm just sitting in sort of half lotus, but you can sit however is comfortable. I'm going to put my fingers in a mudra, just touching my thumbs and my index finger, and I'm putting my hands up here. And I'm just doing this just to sort of feel a sense of balance in my body when I'm sitting. And the mudras have special meaning, which we'll go into at another time. But I'm just going to feel as though I have a string coming out the tip top of my head, and someone is pulling that string up, so my spine is lengthening, and I can feel my shoulders moving down, and my shoulder blades kind of spreading out through over my back body. And I'm going to just lift my one ear up. I'm dropping one ear to the right, lift the other ear up, and then I'm going to turn and look up towards the left. So I'm stretching my neck, and then I'm going to turn and look down. And I'm going to turn and look up, and then I'm going to turn and look down. And then I'm going to put my head in the center. I'm going to drop my ear down again, and I'm going to look up, and then I'm going to look down, and I'm going to look up and down. And we'll try the other side again. So we're just dropping the head to the side, and then looking up, and then looking down, and looking up, and looking down. And then to the other side, looking up and looking down. Up and down. Good. And we'll just nod our head to the front, and then to the back, the front, and the back, the front, and the back. And now I'm going to drop my head to the right, and then swirl it around to the left, and then up. And then to the left, swirl it around the front, to the right, and then up. And I'm going to do that 2 more times, getting my neck in shape for the day. Good. And we're just going to lift our shoulders up and move them forward, and then down and back, up, forward, down and back, up, forward, down and back, and then the other way, rotating back everything is creaking. I don't think you can hear it, but it's like a little symphony of bone cracking here. Good. And I'm just going to hug my arms, my shoulders with my arms. And then I'm going to tilt over to the right, giving myself a little stretch. And then I'm going to come up and I'm going to tilt over to the left, giving myself a little stretch and breathing into my side body, and then coming up. And I'm going to change the encirclement of my body with my arms. And I'm going to tilt over to the right again, and then up, and then to the left, and up, and right, and up. And I'm going to put my arms out, lift them up, and turn to the right. And then I'm going to sweep around with my arms extending out. And then sweep back to the center. And then I'm going to turn to the left, sweep down, over to the front, to the side, and then back to the center. Turn to the right, sweep around, over to the left, and then back to the center. Good. And we'll go put our arms down, reach our right arm out, and we'll just bring our left arm over our ear, and we will move back and forth like a little teeter-totter here, moving to the left and then to the right, stretching our body out and really feeling the opening in our upper torso. Good. And we'll do some leg work here. We'll just do some Danadasana. If you have a strap, or you can use a TheraBand, I'll get something here so I can show you if you need a little bit of extra support. We're just sitting in Dandasana, and we'll sit up and feel our, you can put your TheraBand over your toe mounds and press into the toe mound, arch your feet, press into the heels, and just sit straight up. So we're just getting a sense of alignment. And sometimes I forget to remind myself that the art of yoga is really preparing us for the everyday. And it's helping us align our body so we recognize when we're standing in a good way and when we're standing poorly. So we're just, when we're sitting here, we're simply rehearsing a sense of both balance and alignment. And the axial spine is elongating here from our hip bones and our sit bones to the top of our head. And we're breathing, inhaling and exhaling. And we're just being here now. Thinking about Thich Nhat Hanh's words about being in the moment and how this is the one thing we know we can experience is this very moment. And recognizing that this moment holds many possibilities. So we can set our intention at the beginning of our class and think about what we want this moment to hold. So we have many possibilities. And we can imagine extending this moment into the future. Okay, now we're going to just extend forward with a straight back for as long as possible. This will help you get a sense of your alignment too. And then we're just going to fold over and curve our spine over top of our body. And I'm just inhaling and exhaling, and I'm holding on to my toes, but you might be up here holding on to your shins, which is perfectly fine. This isn't a competition. It's just a practice
And it's the beginning of practice, so I'm a bit stiff. But I'm maintaining the posture just for a few moments of breathing, inhaling and exhaling. I wonder what it would be like to practice that breath. I'm going to practice it once. So I'm going to inhale, and then I'm going to exhale with the ah, ooh, and see what that buzzing does to my spine when I'm like this. Ah, oh, 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 And then I'm just inhaling and exhaling here. I'll try it one more time. Oh, And now I'm going to come up. Good. Now we're just going to, we'll do tree pose later on. So we'll practice tree on the floor here with our one foot in our inner thigh and the other foot stretching out in front of us. And we'll just put our strap over our foot. You want to put your heel, the middle of your heel on the ground, and your foot should be facing straight up towards the ceiling. And you're going to turn a little bit here towards your in this case, it's my left leg, and you're going to extend down. And I'm holding the outer edge of this foot and using my elbows to help me draw down a little bit further. I don't endure pain so much as just some stretching. And you shouldn't really be focused on enduring pain in yoga unless you're living in an ashram in 1978 and your swami is telling you no pain, no gain, and then you do whatever and injure yourself. Now we can come up. We're going to put that leg out and draw our other leg into our inner thigh. And we're sitting up. You can sit up on a blanket if you like, if you would like to have more opportunity to fold over. I'm going to use the strap for a minute and just turn towards that leg and then extend down. And I'm going to hold on to the outer edge of my foot, or you could hold on to your shin, whatever is comfortable. So I'm straight back for a few minutes and then just folding over. And now I'm going to just come up and I will open my legs out and extend them out, pressing into my heels. And you can sit up on something. It helps you go forward a bit. But I'm just going to tough it out here. I'm just going to feel my arms drawing down my legs here with a straight back. And then I'm going to fold over and I'm going to hold on to my toes here and just fold over. So I'm just breathing here, just allowing gravity and my breath to fill my body and to enliven my muscles and my tendons and my veins and my arteries and my skin, my fascia. And my lungs. You can, if you're holding onto your feet, you can use your elbows to give you a little bit of tension and help you go down. So when you're inhaling, you can feel yourself draw back a little bit, draw up. And then the exhalation, you can feel yourself move forward and down. So we're inhaling, and then we're exhaling. Inhaling, and then we're exhaling. Inhaling, and then we're exhaling. Good. And we're going to just roll up. Now I did this interesting thing with my teacher. I'm trying to figure out what I was trying to figure out what it was exactly. She had me go like this, and then lift my legs up, and then go like this. So go back and forth. So this is a teacher who was my Pilates teacher, but she also teaches yoga, and she used to live in Edmonton and have a wonderful studio. And then before the pandemic, she must have had some premonition. She sold her studio and moved to Buenos Aires in Argentina so she could do tango. And so she comes back and she gave me a yoga class the other day, and it was really quite fascinating. But this is one of the things she did. So just lifting your legs up and moving them to the side, and then dropping them down so that they're in this shape. And then lifting your legs up and then dropping them down. And then when you really want a destabilizing moment, you can lift your legs up and then drop them down without using your hands. So it's a very fascinating little movement, but it's a good one. And you can do this a few times and see what it does to your body. It's a good balancing exercise and good for your hips. And basically, it's a very good movement. A bit unorthodox, but she's such a marvelous teacher. I know it has a lot of good effects. And now I'm just going to do a few twists here because I'm in a twisting position. So I've got my one leg twisted and the other leg up. In this case, I've got my right leg up, my right knee up, and I'm just going to twist here and move to the side. And now we're going to move in the opposite direction and give ourselves a sense of both a lifting up and a turning around. So that's the beauty of this twist, is the pressing the foot into the floor, lifting up and turning. And then around the other side, we'll do this one more time. So we'll put our feet in position, lift our arm up, straight up, and then twist around. We can use our elbow against our thigh, or we can hold on to our knee, whatever it is that helps you move around. We're pressing into our back arm in order to help us develop that sense of uprightness. And now we're moving back. We'll do the other side. One more time. So stretching it's the opposite arm to the lifted knee. You stretch it up, and then you turn towards the knee, stretching up, drop that arm down, and then hold. Inhaling and exhaling, feeling the opening in your chest and the way the air can move into your side body and enliven you. And then we're going to come back.
Now, I think we'll just stay low to the ground for a few minutes, and we'll eventually get up and do some standing postures. But for now, we'll just stay low to the ground, and we will move around and do some boat Navasana, some boat poses here. So we're just putting our feet together. Our knees are bent. We're tilting back a little bit, and our arms are straight, fingers pointed, palms facing our torso, our knees, and we're going to lift one knee up and stretch it and then put it down. And then lift the other knee up and stretch it and put it down. One knee, and then the other one. We'll do this one more time, and then we're going to lift both legs if we can. If you find this too difficult, just keep doing the one knee, one leg. But now we're going to lift both legs up. And we're just going to try and maintain this. We're like a little pivot. The fulcrum is our bottom, almost our sacrum, really. And but we're not on the flat of the sacrum. We're on our sit bone, I guess. And then we're going to come down, and we'll just round over top of our knees and give ourselves a little counter stretch here. We're inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling all the air out. And inhaling into our back body. Filling up our back body. Holding. And now we're going to exhale it all out. Good. So we'll come back and do one more boat pose. You can do the one leg at a time. You can go back into Balasana, into child's pose if you're tired. But I'm going to lift both my legs up and just balance here. This is very good for your core. And it is related to, in Pilates, Joseph Pilates used yoga postures in some of his Pilates moves. So hundreds is really all about this kind of thing, where you go like this and breathe and you count 10 tens, and you are basically developing your core. Okay, now we can come back down and sit up. And I'm just going to sit with my feet together. And I'm going to do some work with my groins, just simply, I'm not making too much of this because you don't want to overstretch your groin. So you can do a little bit of fluttering of the butterfly. This is yin terminology, the butterfly. In Hatha yoga, it's the cobbler pose. Because presumably, I guess shoemakers sat like this and it made shoes. When I did my genealogy, I found my great-great-grandfather was a shoemaker in London in the 19th century, maybe the 18th, I guess the 18th century. And he, I don't think he sat like this though. Not in London, I don't think. Okay, so we're just stretching this out. Now we're going to do, we're going to try cow face pose. So you just fold one leg in. I'm folding my left leg in so that the knee is facing straight out. And then we bring our other leg in over top, and you can point your toes here, and you try and put one knee over the other. So you may need props, you may need something to hold up this part of your leg or another, depending on what feels comfortable. And now we're going to just fold over this pose. And you can rest your head on your knee. And this allows you
to do some hip opening. So if it's too painful, then just come up. But I'm just breathing and feeling myself relax over top. So this is also a good counter pose to some of the earlier work that we did. And now I'm going to untangle my legs. I'm just going to stretch them out a bit and shake them. Give them a little rest. And then I'm going to bring my knees back. So in that case, I have the left leg on the bottom. I'm having the right leg on the bottom here and the left leg on the top. And you'll find your hips are not symmetrical. Your body is not symmetrical. So one side is going to be easier than the other. So you need to be gentle with yourself and just work towards your own limitations. Okay, so we've got one knee more or less on top of the other. And we're just going to sit up here. And then we're going to fold over and just, I'm going to extend my arms out here. Well, I guess you could extend them wide as well. Okay, and we're going to extend up, extend our legs out again, shake them out. And we're going to move on to our stomach. So we can just roll onto our tummies and we will do some lovely back bends here. So we're going to just, I'm just putting my hands beside my shoulder, underneath my shoulders here. And I'm just going to push back into a low cobra here. So I'm just tilting, I'm pressing my pelvis into the ground, pointing my feet towards the back wall and pressing up. And then I'm going to lower down. I'm going to do this one more time. I tend to get foot cramps in the morning, so I'm actually pressing my toes into the mat to extend my toes while I'm doing this posture, but that's not required. It's just my little peccadillo. Okay, up we go again. And then we're going to roll down. We're going to put our hands in the Sphinx position with our elbows underneath our shoulders, pressing into the ground. And we're going to feel the way our body, our upper back, and we can find this lovely curve in the spine and feel our head in alignment with our spine. And now we're going to lower down again. And we'll do that one more time. We're going to put our arms down, and our forearms are flat on the ground, our palms are on the ground, and we're pushing into the forearm, and we're feeling that curvature. And then we're going to push into our hands and press back, but we shouldn't feel any pain in our lower back. If you feel pain in your lower back, you must stop and come back down. So this is really pressing the pelvis into the ground and working to open. I've got my elbows bent here a bit because I can't get all the way up. So I'm just feeling the opening in
in the spine, in the upper part of the spine. And I'm not overstraining my neck. And then I'm going to come down. Good. I'm just going to have a little rest here, put one hand on top of the other, and cradle my head on my hands. And then I'm going to lift my head up and put the other cheek on my hand to give it a little bit of balance. And I'm resting here, breathing deeply. And I'm preparing now for the locust, which is either your favorite pose or one you don't like. So whatever it is, it's a lovely pose to do. So we're going to take our hands, extend them along our torso with our palms up. And we've got our feet together, pointed. And we are pressing our pelvis into the ground. And we're going to lift one shoulder up and down. And lift the other shoulder up and then down. Lift both shoulders up and then drop them down. And this time we're going to lift both our shoulders up and then our head and our upper chest. We're feeling our collarbone moving up. And then we're going to lift our legs up and our arms. And we're just going to float here. It's as though we're flying through the air, migrating like the birds. We're about to be starting our migration. And then we're going to come down. And we'll do that one more time. Pressing into the floor with our feet. And extending our arms out, lifting our chest up, our head up. Feeling that beautiful curvature of the spine and lifting our legs up. Pressing our pelvis into the ground and really lifting up one more time. Lift up. Inhaling and exhaling. Lift up. Inhaling and exhaling. Lift up. And then come down. Okay, and then you can take your arms and make a pillow for your hands. Good. And then we're going to come push back into child's pose. Here we are. Just inhaling and exhaling. And now we're going to work our way into pigeon because we're down here. So we're just going to lift or take our right leg, bring it forward, and we can draw our foot out, pointed foot, and extend our back leg down. So we're increasing the distance between our left, in this case, my left leg is going back, and my right hip. So, and we're just going to, we can keep ourselves up here. There's a lot of benefit in this approach to the pose, which is the kind of preliminary approach. Just this upright pigeon. And we can inhale. We've got an open chest. And we are feeling the power of this pose as we're extending our hip flexor, our left hip flexor. And we are getting deep into the right glute. Okay, good. And now we're going to just move down onto our forearms into that pose that we were in before, that Sphinx pose arms. And then you can lower down and drop your head to the ground here, if you like. So we're spending a lot of time on the mat, close to the ground. I'm really getting a sense of being here, right in this very minute, in all these low postures. Just feeling that sense of being here in the present. And now I'm going to just roll onto my hip, my bottom, and I'm going to twirl around and move the other leg, in this case, my left leg in front. And
I'm going to keep this foot pointed. If you're doing the full expression of the posture, your front leg is at 45 degrees and your foot is flexed. But I can't do that very well. So I guess I could try it and see. But I don't, anyway, I'm going to use the more generous version of it. And I'm just pressing back. I have my back, both toes are pointed. And now I'm going to come down onto the Sphinx. And then I'm going to fold my arms and rest my head on my hands here. And I'm just wiggling a little bit. You don't have to do this, but for some reason, wiggling makes me feel good in this posture. So I just wiggle. I think it helps my muscles extend a little bit. Okay. And now we're going to just sit up again, and we can twirl our feet around, our back leg around, and we can sit once more. And with our feet together, and just, I'm just holding onto my feet. I'm keeping my spine upright. And once again, I'm getting a sense of just being present, locating myself in the here and the now, not letting any thoughts of the past, any regrets, any worries about the future, any tasks that I have to fulfill, none of that is entering my consciousness. I'm just being here in this moment. And I'm feeling my spine lift up, axial elongation. My face is relaxed. And I'm inhaling and exhaling. And I'll try that once more if you want to join me. So it's and I'm trying to draw that humming sound, the buzzing sound into my lower spine. So here we go. Inhale and then exhale. Inhale. And inhale, exhale. And we're inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Okay, now we're going to make our way to the front of the mat and stand up in Tadasana. And this up here. Okay, so we're standing in Tadasana, and we're just going to do a few sun salutations just to get us moving. So standing at the front of the mat, opening our arms up, look up, our arms moving out as we move into a forward fold, exhaling here. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, hands to the ground, knee down, lifting up, inhaling, exhaling, plank and down and into a back bend of your choice. And then exhaling into your downward dog. So lift the right leg up, bring it forward, left leg forward, fold over, and all the way up, inhaling and exhaling. Okay, we'll try another variation. So inhale up and exhale, fold over. We're just going to stay here for a moment. Exhaling and inhaling, we can hook our arms, and we're just going to feel gravity help us just fold over our body. We're very contained here. We're very relaxed here. We're inhaling and exhaling. And then we're going to come up, halfway lift, and exhale down. And this time we're just going to come all the way up to Tadasana. Inhale, look up, and then down. We're going to do that one more time, just a half sun salutation. So inhale, look up, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, forward fold, and inhale, all the way up, and exhale, and Tadasana. And here we're feeling the weight evenly distributed on our feet. We're neither too far forward or too far back. We're feeling a very neutral spine, and we should feel our shoulders relax here. Now we're going to inhale, look up, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, knee back, knee to the ground, and up, look up, inhaling, and exhale, the other leg's back, and we'll just stay in plank pose for just a moment here. So plank, you should feel the energy stretching out your heels in the back, and you're grounding with your hands below your shoulders, your fingers, your finger pads, your the heel of your hand. There should be weight balanced on all parts of your hand, not on just one part. And now we're going to either go knees, chest, chin, or we're going to do chaturanga and move down towards the ground, and then move forward and up into either Cobra or upward dog. And I'm going to stay in upward dog for a moment. I'm sucking in my belly as best possible, and I'm opening my chest, and I'm pressing the tops of my feet into the ground and extending my legs so that my knees are straight. And once again, I'm going to just bring my feet, toes under, and move into downward dog. And stretch out my heels here. Okay. Now I'm in downward dog. I'm focusing on rolling my upper arms out, and my shoulders have extended now over my back, and I'm pressing into my hands, and I'm pressing into the heels. There's no rule that you have to put your heels to the ground, but that's something you can work towards. And I'm pressing my thighs back, my knees back, and feeling when I press my thighs back that my sit bones move up. So here you can imagine yourself really working hard in this downward dog, and inhaling and exhaling. We'll take a few more breaths here. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and then exhaling, calming our breath. And I'm going to lift my left leg up and bring it forward between my hands. Oops, this morning that seems very hard. And then my right leg forward. And I'm extending over my legs. I'm going to hold on to my toes, and I'm going to use my elbows to help me draw me down towards my legs. And then I'm going to reach out and up, inhaling, and hands down to heart center. And stand in Tadasana. And we're going to do another sun salutation, and then that will be it. Okay, one more on each side. Inhale, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, right leg back. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale to upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale. Right leg forward, look up. Exhale, both hands to the ground, left leg forward. And now all the way up and down. Okay, inhale, look up. Exhale to the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale. Inhale, left leg back, knee to the ground. Exhale, plank. And then up into an inhalation, planting the tops of our feet in the ground, keeping our legs straight, making sure we have no back pain, and opening our shoulders, feeling our collarbone rise up. And there should be no tension in our head. And we're going to move back into downward dog from there. And we're going to stay here for 5 breaths. And I'm just going to use my breaths as an opportunity to bicycle my feet and help me work on elongating my toes. Inhaling and exhaling here, bicycling back and forth. And now we're going to lift our right leg up and bring it forward. Okay. And we're just going to fold over here and rest for a moment. Extending making sure our legs are straight. We're pressing into our feet. And we are feeling our sit bones really rising up to the ceiling. And now we're going to just let our hands drop down to the floor. We're going to open them up wide, get a sense of our breath, filling up our chest, looking up, and then opening wide. So I think we're going to just move on and do a few standing postures, and then we're going to go to the ground again. Okay, so lift your arms up and down. Lift your arms up and down. Okay, now you can either move your feet out. You can either jump out in Iyengar, you jump out 3 or 4 feet, or you can just move your legs out 3 or 4 feet. I'm a kind of eclectic practitioner, so I do both. And then you move your right leg foot forward, your left leg on the diagonal in, and we're going to do Trikonasana. So we're going to tilt our hips to the left while we extend our arm right and drop our arm down and look up. And we're opening our chest up. We're feeling the top arm move towards the sky, the bottom arm move towards the earth, and we're feeling a sense of expansion in our chest as we inhale and exhale, pressing into our feet, into the outer edge of our back foot. We can lift our toes up on our arches and stretch our toes out when we put them back down. Good. And now I think what we can do is just come up and turn to the other side and do Trikonasana. Doing a few well-conceived standing postures is a very good way of activating our bodies after all of the stretches we've done. So we're going to tilt our hips to the right, extend our left arm out, and then drop it down and lift our right arm up, looking up and opening our chest to the ceiling, to the sky, and imagining how we are going to enter this new day, having been here in this present moment, enjoying the pleasures of our breath and our body and our good company here. And now we're tilting up. We're going to move to the other side, bending our knee, and feeling the back knee straight. Our thighs are opening out. They're externally rotating here. And once again, we're lifting our toes and our inner arches up as we just turn our palms to the ceiling and lift our arms up. And we are sinking down as we are moving up. Sinking down as we're moving up. And now we're going to open our arms out and look towards the front hand. That's our drishti or focal point. And we're going to bend back into the center. We're going to have our feet pointed towards the front, and I'm going to just tilt my hips and pelvis and drop down, extending my hands out and really feeling my tailbone, my sit bones, feeling them lifting up. And as I straighten my legs and press into my feet, I can feel my tailbone, my sit bones lifting up even further. Okay, we'll walk to the right. Hold on to your ankle if you can, or whatever part of your leg is possible. And draw yourself in. And then we're going to walk to the left and do the same thing. And draw yourself in, keeping those legs straight. And then hands between your knees, between your legs rather, underneath your shoulders, and press into them. So this is actually the beginning of a tripod headstand, but I'm not going to do it. You could take a block and put it underneath your head. It'll give you a sense of the presence of the crown chakra, which is the highest chakra in yogic philosophy. And if you press into it, it stimulates it, and it's a good thing. And now we're going to stretch our arms out and our back straight. We can wiggle our feet in a little bit, put our hands on our hips, and tilt up. And we're just going to do a couple of standing postures on the other side. So I'm going to come in a little bit. Once again, I'm going to move my feet out 3 or 4 feet, turn the left foot towards the front of that mat, and the back foot onto the diagonal, and extending my arms out, tilting my hips and dropping my arm down and looking up. And feeling that the top part of my body is extended between my hip bone and my lower rib, as is the bottom part. So you may want to come up a bit in order to extend your torso on both sides. And I'm looking up. And then I'm coming up, turning my foot in, and just standing here for a moment as I turn my foot out again and push into my Virabhadrasana 2. Both legs straight, stretching out and looking out. And we'll just keep extending and drop our arm down on this side and put our hand on the diagonal. You can put your hand on the floor beside your foot, behind your foot. But I'm just going to stay here for today. And then up. And we're going to do the same extension on the other side. Stretching out and then dropping your forearm down, and on the diagonal you feel that beautiful opening as you turn your chest towards the sky. So you're opening your chest out and turning towards the sky. And now we're coming up and we'll bring our legs in. And we'll now just come down to the ground and do a few grounding exercises before we take the final pose of Shavasana with some variation. So we're going to come down here, roll onto our back, cradle our hands. We can put our hands through our knees, press our feet towards the sky, and we can wiggle our feet. It's a lovely, relaxing massage of our back, and it helps us extend our hamstrings a little. And then we can just put our feet on the ground. I'm going to just simply, you can roll your knees back and forth in a windshield wiper effect, or I'm going to take my right foot up, hook it over my left, lift my hips up, draw them towards the right, and drop my knees towards the left. With my arms extended, this to me is just a heavenly stretch, a supine stretch, very passive, but very powerful. You can also put your hand on your thigh to give it a little extra weight, but you don't have to press too far because this is already a powerful stretch. Then I'm going to move the extended arm out and try and use it like a second hand, extending it out around my body and keeping the shoulder as close to the ground as you can until you lift it up here and move it over. And now I'm going to just do the other side. I'm going to bring my feet back to the center and lift my left leg up, cross it over my right, lift my hips up towards the left, drop my knees towards the right, and then extend my arms out. I'm looking in the opposite direction of I'm looking towards my left hand while my knees are moving towards the right. And I'm going to use that second hand of the clock to floss my shoulders a little in this final posture before we move into Shavasana. Now, there are many postures that we didn't do today that we could have done, and maybe we'll do them all next week or tomorrow. And breathing easily here, working towards my final relaxation. And here I'm going to just shift back into the flat of my back, feeling the sacrum on the ground, my feet planted on the ground. And you can go to the wall and lift your legs up in this lovely inversion
pressing into the feet, keeping your legs straight, or you can just stay here with your legs bent, move into a fetal position or onto your stomach, or you can extend your legs out into a V and your hands into a V, your palms up. And I'm inhaling and I'm just sighing as I exhale. Inhaling and sighing as I exhale. I'm turning my head from side to side. I'm lifting my shoulders up and then dropping them down towards the ears and then dropping them down. I'm lifting my hands up and dropping them down, my feet and legs up and dropping them down, my hips up and dropping them down. And I'm wiggling back and forth a little, settling into the earth, imagining I'm here. It's a cloudless day. The sun is low in the sky. The light is very soft. And I'm just drifting on a field of clover. My neighbor turned her back garden into beautiful raised beds and then a field of clover in the middle with a linden tree. It is so beautiful. And whenever I see this field of clover, I just think I'm just going to stretch out in it and float. So I'm going to leave you in silence, breathing easily for several minutes in your final relaxation as you feel the present moment fill you with joy and relaxation. Okay, I'm going to just invite you to reawaken and to feel the tingling of a breeze across your nose, across your toes, across your fingertips. And you'll feel your body reawaken moment by moment. You'll inhale and exhale, inhale peace and joy, and exhale anything you want to rid yourself of. I'm just going to read you one more time this beautiful passage from Interbeing, 14 Guidelines for Engaged Buddhism. I'm going to be reading through some of this for the next month. Aware that life is available only in the present moment and that it is possible to live happily in the here and now. We are committed to training ourselves to live deeply each moment of daily life. We will try not to lose ourselves in dispersion or be carried away by regrets about the past, worries about the future, or craving, anger, or jealousy in the present. We will practice mindful breathing to come back to what is happening in the present moment. We are determined to learn the art of mindful living by touching the wondrous, refreshing, and healing elements that are inside and around us, and by nourishing seeds of joy, peace, love, and understanding in ourselves, thus facilitating the work of transformation and healing in our consciousness. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you have a beautiful day, week, month ahead.